And I've started the recording. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. All right. So, what we did till the other day in Spring MVC and Spring Boot is we created a project and we added, automatically the pom.xml came. We created a controller, greetings controller, and we added methods to it, different mapping for different URLs, and we were returning a string, and in the same name we should be having a JSP inside the SRC main web app, webinf, and JSP folder. And how do we map this JSP folder? This is done in the application.properties. So we have the prefix and we have the suffix as .jsp. So we did so far. Now, and we discussed about the concept IOC and DI, which is the dependency injection. Today we will go over something known as auto wiring, which is an important concept in Spring. So far we had written only the controller. The control comes to a controller. So when I hit greeting, it comes here. From here it goes to a JSP, greeting.jsp, and we open up the page. That's all we did. But today what we will do is we will be creating the next level of class. We will pass the parameter. So by parameter, what I mean is here let's take this greeting URL. We have a request parameter and the name of the parameter is name. So if I am going to if I need to send out a parameter, I need to give in the servlet. We saw that question mark name equal to my name. So this is how we gave the request parameter. The same way we'll give the request parameter, and that would transfer here, and that will come here as the name. Now what we are going to do, we will create one interface.
Rajesh, I didn't get what we are going to achieve here. Could you please repeat again?
Yeah, today we are going to achieve this input parameter we are receiving in the controller. Correct. So far what we did, when we call this URL, that would come here and that would return to a JSP. So we are displaying the JSP. That's all we did. Correct. In servlet, what we did, we created one calculator program. When I hit the values from the servlet, we used to call one external class file, pass the values there. There only we do the calculation and return back. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
We have been doing from the main program, from the core Java. We have been doing the same logic. So the same logic we are going to do here. I haven't shown this till now. This is the first time we are going to go through, and you'll understand the difference of how Spring does it. For that, I have created one folder as SRC, one package.
So here just by using only Spring, not the core Java.
Yes.
Okay.
Spring's way of calling a class file. That is what in a single line, if I want to tell you how Spring calls the class file. I mean, Spring calls a method in a class. What is the traditional way of calling? We create a class object equal to new class, correct? Or interface object equal to new implementation class. These are the two ways you have studied so far, right?
Yes.
Spring says both of these are wrong. Not wrong. Spring says why should a dependency of a new keyword should be here. It should be done dynamically. That is what we are going to study today. We are going to eliminate this new keyword, but still call the method inside the class. How Spring is going to do that? This is very
Okay.
important concept. 100% this will be used in all the project. So this is very, very important concept. So we have created a package SRC, service. Inside the service, I am creating one interface. Inside the interface, I'm declaring one method as the return type is integer and calculation. That is what we did the other day in servlet and also in core Java. This is going to accept two integer values, integer number 1, integer number 2. Purposefully I am giving integer now. Later we will convert to double, because when we convert you need to know where all you have to convert. So we are declaring one method as calculation that's going to accept two integers and that is going to return back an integer. This is a declaration in the interface. Now I've created one implementation class, service implementation, which is implementing the interface. And why we have an error? If we are implementing an interface, we have to declare all the methods that is given in the interface. That is core Java. So we give unimplemented method. This method is here. The control comes here to, we are receiving the two input numbers. I will give just a sysout here. Sysout input received, and what is the number that's received? Number 1 plus number 2. Actually the object should start with a lower case. It is called camel case. There's nothing wrong in keeping uppercase, but just a naming standard. Number 1 plus number 2. What is syntax? I have to do a plus here. Okay. So I'm just giving a sysout as number 1 and number 2, and I'll return always. No, I'll return number 1 plus number 2. Number 1 plus number 2. So this is just a method inside the service class. Now we are going to see how to call this method from the controller. How we called this method from the servlet? We created a new service implementation equal to new service implementation, that object dot calculation. Correct? That's the normal way of calling any Java class method. We create an instance of the class and we call it. In Spring, we don't create any instance of the class. We just do here. You see here there are a few keywords added here. I'll delete this for now. I'll delete this also for now. I'll just comment out this. Okay. Now, okay, note this line. I am creating an object. I'm declaring, not creating. I'm declaring an object of the interface. This is declaration. Creation means new keyword will be there. Declaration. Creating or instantiating. Instantiation. That is done using new keyword. So I'm declaring an object of the interface. What is the interface? iService interface. And who is implementing it? Service IMPL is implementing it. I am not creating any reference to that here. Correct? Now this file doesn't even know that there is a class existing service IMPL. Right? Any question? Trying to
I didn't
understand.
get it.
Okay.
I'm
Now,
sorry about that.
Let me open up the servlet. Not welcome servlet.
Yeah, just I got what we are going to try to do, but after that,
Yeah.
you know,
I'll show. If you see instead of me telling you the answer, you see and you identify, it would be easy for you. Where did we call the mathematical? Process servlet. Here it is. I'll keep these two files side by side. Okay, so this is the not this one here. This is the file equivalent to servlet, correct? That you understand? The controller is equal to servlet.
yes,
Okay,
just we are calling that servlet.
correct. Here from the servlet, in the servlet, we are receiving the two numbers, first number, second number. The same way, in the servlet, I am receiving the number here. Just one parameter. Let's take it as number 1.
Okay.
I'll copy this. I'll name it as what is we give first num. I'll give here first num. So that we are writing same as we wrote in the servlet, just to make sure. Okay. Now I'll hit enter. I'll paste one more time. Here it is. Second number, first number, second number, and I'm storing as second number. Okay.
Okay.
So this is same as retrieving from request.get parameter. So from the request parameter, I'm going to retrieve using the keyword first num, and I am assigning inside the variable a string input first number. Here I am assigning inside the variable same I'll use first number. So far good. Following.
Yes, just we are.
This is in servlet terminology. This is in controller terminology. That's all.
Yeah, both are same here.
Both are
Okay.
same. We are receiving the two numbers. Now we have to call the max operation, which is in different file. Here, how are we calling? In servlet.
We have like the math operation here. Just we are going to call
This one. This is what you have to focus. We are using new keyword. For understanding purpose, I'll create the same name here. Okay. Now from the controller, I want to call the same. Before that, I will comment this line. It is okay. So from the controller also, I have to call the same maths operation. For that maths operation, let us copy this code as it is. Let us put inside the maths operation. I will just copy this and paste it in the interface. I'm not doing anything new. I'm just changing the method and input. That's all. So now the interface method name is maths operation, just to ensure that we follow the same method which we did in servlet. So the method name is maths operation. It is going to accept number 1, number 2, and action. It is going to return a double. And we have a maths operation file. We copied the same method which we did the other day. We pasted here. So this is what happened. A brace is missing, right? Okay. Okay, good. So the maths operation is, what is the error? It should return. Okay, okay. I think I didn't copy it properly. Okay. So this method you understand?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'll get rid of this. I'll get rid of. So we have a ditto, same as what we did in the servlet. Now from servlet, how did we call? Using the new keyword, we created an object of the maths operation. Here what we are going to do, the Spring says don't couple. What is meant by coupling is this file should know that this file is existing. If I delete maths operation, here the compilation error will come, correct?
Yes.
But Spring says don't couple. It is same like when an interview is done, the interviewer should be calling the candidate. The candidate should not be coupled to the interviewer. Same way, the candidate, which is the class which is going to be called, should not be coupled here. So what Spring says, don't give a new keyword that has to be taken care dynamically using DI and IOC, which we did the other day. So what we do, we
Rajesh, here using the word dynamically, that means
by the
the
Spring Bean factory or the Spring container,
okay.
the Spring framework and the container is going to, we have something as Bean factory that will be that will I'll tell you. That is the end of the story. So now Spring says don't create like this. This is a wrong way. This is total coupling. If the file is not there, this class will throw an error. So what Spring says, don't speak with the class, speak with the interface. That is what in core Java day one I said. There is a third way. Interface object. That's all. This class will not even know that what is a new, which class is going to be an object of this. So Spring says you just give the interface name, interface and the interface object. And who is implementing this interface? This maths operation. You see here, maths operation is implementing
Mm-hmm.
the interface.
Mm-hmm.
So since maths is implementing this interface, we just speak with this interface. When the program is running, that time Bean Factory will automatically provide the object of this class.
Okay.
So we are going to see that. So I am just declaring, now I'll call this class dot maths operation of, what is my first number here? First number, second number. Let me add the third also as action. Action name n should be camel case. Action name. What is input first number? No, it should be input second number, right? We already used the word first number. Okay, so input first number, input second number, action name. So we are getting three input parameter and we are calling the three. Okay, what is wrong here? It is expecting double string. What we are passing? String, string, string. So how to convert from string to double? We have the wrapper class. Double dot parse double of string. If we want to convert a string to double dot parse double of and same. This is core Java. Double dot parse double of second number. Okay, so far good. So if you notice, we didn't create any instance. We didn't create any new. I'll comment this. If we are going to run this, there will be an error. You have to create a new, you have to create an object using new keyword, or else it will throw null pointer exception. You didn't even create, I don't know what is the object, and you are trying to call something. This itself is nothing. This is null. That's what Spring is going to tell. So now I go, I give, I can just call the greeting. Later we'll pass the parameter. Okay, there is some error. Great. Input for input string world. Okay, default should not be world. I'll remove the default value, or I'll give default as 1.1. Here, let's just do 0.1 and let this be ADD. Okay, but this is not the actual error. I want to show you something else.
Yeah, this in core Java also, if you didn't create the new keyword, it's going to say the same error, right?
Yes, exactly. But here, I'll show you. We will not, since it is telling error, we will not use the new keyword. But still, we have to make the program work. That is the beauty.
Okay, we are not using the new keyword in the Spring, but
Spring,
we are going to try to work out.
correct. You should never use a new keyword of the other class in Spring. That deviates the Spring. Okay, here it is. We got the null pointer exception. Cannot invoke com rajesh service dot iservice dot max operation because this dot service object, this object is null because we don't have a new keyword. You understand this, right? This is a common error.
Here, null means nothing is there.
Nothing.
That's
And you are trying to access the method from nothing.
okay.
Only if you give here new, this means you don't even have a Ganesha idol, and you are trying to do puja. You are trying to do. You are trying to put a flower garland. Okay, calling the method match operation is equal to like putting
I got you.
flower
We don't
garland.
have the
We
instance.
don't
We
have
don't have
an
the new.
yeah. That is, we don't even have an object. And what are you trying to call? That's what Spring is telling. It is null. That is null pointer. You don't have an object and you're trying to call something. First create an object. So you cannot invoke this method because it is null. Now because it is telling that it is null, we should not give here new. If you give here new, it will work perfectly. New, what is the implementation class? Maths operation. Okay, let's see now. Okay, let's start it. There's no error, see, it is working because now the object is available and we are calling the object, but this will work. This is not Spring. If you write this way, it is, you are not writing a Spring application. The beauty of Spring application is we have to make this work without, this is again coupling. You are coupling a class. If this class is not available, it will throw error. This import itself should not be there. This class should not know what is the class from which we are going to get an object. So to make this work, we have a keyword in Spring as auto wiring. Wiring means connecting together the classes. When I give auto wired, annotation before this class, it means you go and search in the package. If there is a class which is implementing this interface, then you create a new object of that class. That is what we did here, right? We did here new maths operation. So what we are telling to the Spring container is, I will comment this line, you do this new for me. I will not do this. You go and you search in the package. If you find any class which is implementing this iService, you take that class, you do a new operation of that class, you generate the syntax, you apply the syntax against that class, and then you put it here. You wire that object here as though I have created it here. Understood?
Oh, that means internally it's going to create the object, it's going to
Correct.
work it out.
Correct. So if I give this keyword, it will work. But where should it search? We are telling that search everywhere. We should tell where all to search, right?
We can give the folder name.
We give here the component scan. When the Spring Boot is starting, we tell you search inside com.rajesh, which means all the packages and sub packages inside com.rajesh, you go and search. Okay, so com.rajesh.service, it is inside com.rajesh. Com.rajesh is serving web content. It is also under com.rajesh. So it is going to search this class, this class, this class, and this class. 4 files it is going to search. Out of the 4 files, one is implementing this file, this interface. So it is going to create a new object and then hook it in here. Okay.
Yeah, the object which is created by Spring inside we can't see, but it's going to work out.
Correct. And one more thing to be noted here is, it is going to, I said that it is going to search 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it is going to see that this class is interface. This class has implemented that interface. For the Spring Boot to read this class, this annotation is necessary. If I don't give this annotation, it will skip this file. It won't even read this file. So this we are telling to the Bean factory that the maths operation file is eligible for scanning. When you scan, you have to scan this also. That is what this component means. This is a component, so please scan it, and wherever required, use it for auto wiring. Wherever the user has used this interface, you take this class and create an object. So this is important. This is okay. In the order, first is these two. In the main application, we have to give component scan, configuration, and component scan. So this becomes eligible, and this will start looking all the files. Second is, for the file to be eligible, the component has to be given. That is second. Third, we have to do auto wired. Fourth, auto wiring of what? The interface and the interface object. These are the 4 things we have to. Now we can remove this import. See, it is telling unused import because you are not using this maths operation. Now, if I delete this maths operation file, it won't throw an error because none of this file is coupled with the maths operation, correct?
Yeah.
So this is the decoupling. This is the rules, or this is the advantage or the policy of Spring. Decouple. Don't couple classes to class. That is one. Second is, don't talk to class, talk to interface. Now we are speaking with interface, correct? We are leaving to the Bean factory to work it out. Now let's see if it is working. It is working. Still we are getting the same output. The page is coming up. Okay, got this?
Okay.
This is very important. This is the Spring core. DI and IOC, whatever we read the other day, this is the application of DI and IOC. Now,
That means, Rajesh,
yes.
we are going to decrease the objects here. That's the
We are going to
we are going to minimize the objects, not to minimize the objects.
we are going to decouple. We are not
Decouple.
creating
Okay.
any objects. We are declaring the objects. We are not creating the objects.
Okay.
Okay. Here, can you think of one question, like one crazy question from what I said? If you think carefully, you can ask me one one tricky question here from what I said so far.
Just to couple the AVA, the calling method. That's it. And you understood what I was saying. And
Yes. So I will tell then. What I
Mhm.
said, when I give auto wire, what we are telling to the bean factory. So you have to now, from now on, remember that uh, don't have spring alone. What exactly inside the spring is doing, this is the factory, bean factory. The factory. The fact, as
Mhm.
we have the terminology, factory is where all the objects are produced or the production will happen. Same way, bean factory is the place where the objects are produced, correct? This new keyword,
Mhm. Mhm.
this will be, these objects will be produced inside a factory, and that factory will tie up with this class in during runtime. So it is called bean factory. So what I said, using this auto wire, when I give this auto wire, what we are telling to Spring, you go inside the packages. Which package? Here, component scan, and scan all the classes which are given inside the package and search for a class which is implementing this interface and create a new object of that particular class and place it here, correct?
Yes.
Now one question comes is, what if more than one classes are implementing? I can also have max operation 2. Possible, right? There is no hard and fast rule that only one class should implement an interface. Max operation 2.java.
And if we have like more class, we are going to write this one also.
That is what I am coming. You cannot, you are not wiping out this class. I want both the classes to be there.
No, just we are going to write this class too.
White
I mean
means
coupling.
I didn't understand you.
Just we use the word wired, right?
Uh,
At the rate wired.
yes. How we can do only one wiring here. I'll show you what happens
Okay.
now.
Mhm.
Let's see what the error comes first. I service. So we have to implement and unimplemented. We'll do here sysout inside max operations 2. Okay. Now we will. I have to give this also component. Otherwise, this will be skipped. This will be skipped by the bean factory. So I have to give this component, which means this guy is ready for creating an object. Now I will run this class. Let's see what happens. Oh, great. We got an error. Let's see what the error. Field service object. What is service object in the controller? Okay, the field service object in com Rajesh serving web content greeting controller required a single bean, but two were found. Correct? Because two classes are implementing the same interface. We are talking to interface here.
Okay.
I'm not
Rajesh,
mentioning.
could you please go to the second class max operation 2?
Second class is ditto of first class. It
Okay.
is exactly same, just the sysout is different. Inside operation 2,
Okay.
here inside operation 1. Of course, I have not given the sysout. It is understood.
Did you
Exist
call the class 2 here? The max operation 2?
where
On.
here no from this is different. He is a different guy. He is a different guy. Both
Okay.
are implement. Let's say for what is interface, I said I took an example of switch. Manufacturer of switch will have to follow the specification.
Mhm.
So we have two different companies manufacturing the switch, right? So this is
Yes.
company one. He is implementing all the contracts or the rules given by the switch authority. He is another guy. He is also implementing the same thing. So they two are totally different guys. They are implementing the same interface.
Okay.
Now, greeting controller, we are talking with interface. But this interface has two implementation. There are two persons in the market who are implementing this interface.
Okay.
Correct? That is what it is telling. The field subject needs only one interface, only one bean, only one
Okay.
implementation of the interface. But two implementation guys are there. Whom should I
Okay.
use? That is
Rajesh, my question here, the service object is there, right? And we have one max operation and max operation 2. Usually it has to go to only max operation, right?
how.
Because,
Where did we mention?
okay, the service object, okay, it's going to call the service object. Okay, in
Hmm.
max operation we have service object, in max operation 2 we have service object. Okay.
Yes, interface.
Interface, sorry.
Yeah, this is also
Interface.
implementing same interface. He is
Inside
also
the
implementing same
interface. Okay,
interface.
now it's
So
going to confuse where I have to go.
correct. We have never mentioned I have to go operation or operation two. So
Mhm.
it is confusing. It is confused now. You have two beans, but I can only auto wire one bean. So
Okay.
either mark one of the bean as primary or update the consumer to accept multiple bean or use qualifier to identify. That is what I commented initially. When I go
Mhm.
qualifier and give service one here, I have to give the 1 second. I have to go that. So I have to. Where is the controller? Okay, in the controller, I am telling I use qualifier one in this bean and use qualifier two for another bean. In this case, it has to know what is qualifier. So we will go to that class and we will give here qualifier and what did we just syntax alone. I have some doubts. Let me verify it. 1 second. So here we have to go. Here the qualifier is 1 second. Let me just verify it once. At qualifier plus Spring Boot. No, I'm just afraid. If I open it, here I'll try giving it giving this inside the component, because this syntax we will not use here. Component of whether we I'll see the documentation. Component indicates annotated class. Okay, I got. Let me try it here. Okay, it has started without error. Now it's working. So when I gave the qualifier, in the controller, what I am telling, you create this bean, but you search for a component with this particular name. That you have to map it here. So what is the
Rajesh,
component?
what's the use of qualifier here?
It is just mapping.
I'm
It is
sorry.
just mapping component. I mean, qualifier means you go and take this word, whichever implementation is having this name, you match it. Instead of we giving here new of match operation 1, we are giving a keyword here and giving the same keyword here. Here for this 2, we'll give one more name. A short form, we call it as qualifier. The component name is service2. So now to wire, when we do auto wire and qualifier, it is going to wire service1 object here.
Okay. By using the qualifier word, just how many interface we need, just we are going to wire it. That's what you're telling
Yes,
here.
yes. This is used only when we have multiple implementation. We give service2 and we map it to service2 object here.
Okay.
I'll call both of them now. Service dot this one, and I'll call
Just copy and paste and then
service2 service object 2 dot mat operation. Now the first call is going to the first mat operation. The second call is going to the second mat operation. If you are having only one implementation class, you need not do this qualifier. You just give auto wire and it will take care. 99% of the projects will have only one implementation. I'll tell you the 1% when you will be using multiple, because you have to know the real world, right? What is the use of this? So now it is going to call, say, inside maths operation 2. The first call we didn't have a sys out, so it went there, and here also it went. Okay, so let us take it out and print it in the screen. We are calling this, it's going to return a double. I have to capture that double here. Let me close this. Close this. Double result. Now I commented one line initially, model dot attribute. In this model dot attribute, whatever you need to send it to a JSP page, we can put it. I can put here a result value, and I can just place here the result. And in JSP, I have to put the same syntax, dollar and the result value, whatever is there in the model. I repeat, from this method, from this class, the implementation class, it will return a value. We are assigning and taking that value in a variable. We place it inside the model attribute. Model is declared here as model. This is an inbuilt class. Spring framework UI.model. What is the equivalent of model in servlet? We used request.set attribute. We use request.set attribute. Do you remember? See
Yeah,
here,
Rajesh.
request.set attribute result value. The equivalent of this is model. So it's all, now you can see the progression, right? The same concept, same just here and there they have altered it. It's like the same car, just the body and look and feel they have altered and they have bought a spring. Of course, it has lots of additional features, but the core concept is same. Still, we are able to. Oh, this is latest. Okay, this is in 2021 now, and whatever servlet I opened, it is there from 2004-5. So we have traveled 15 years back, and still we are able to map whatever is there in the controller to whatever is there in the servlet 15 years back. Correct? We are able to map the request parameter, right? And we can, the equivalent is just the syntax has changed. Here we had request.get parameter. Here they have given at request param and name equal to they have given. Here there is no name, it implies it is name. And double quotes we are getting the value. Here it is same. We are assigning it to an variable here. That is also same here. Just the syntax and the it, here they have placed it front, there it was back. Whatever it was back there, they have put it here. So it is just alteration. Can you, I mean, do you follow? Do you understand this?
Yeah, Rajesh.
So that is what I keep on telling. The core concept alone is important. Even after 20 years, something new comes, we will still be able to relate because the basics are same. Once the like the motor is the functioning of a motor is not going to change, right? Whatever
Yes.
is was invented like 100 years back, when we have like two poles and an armature is rotating inside, it is not going to change. That is same. All they can do is just tweak it and change the efficiency, the torque they can change, the power factor they can reduce. So all those things alone they can do, but the core is never going to change unless a great miracle happens and the way the motor itself is redesigned. Instead of these wires, something else is brought and something else comes as motor, only then it will be changing. But so far, we have crossed like 100 plus years and nothing has changed. Same way, the core concept which was there 15 years back is still there, just syntax is altered. Okay, now what I wanted to show. Okay, we'll see whether the output is printing or not. If you have any questions with this auto wiring, you can ask now.
I'm good, Rajesh.
Great. If you recollect the day one core Java, I asked or not asked, I created a folder structure, service DAO. The core file was inside something else. Main program was inside access modifier, but DAO was inside DAO implementation. Service was, we created this structure on day one itself. If you remember, iService I created. See here, Matt. This is the file which we created on day one. Service implementation extends, common implements iService. I created another implementation, right? With same interface.
Yeah, the same thing, just to be wired. That's it.
Correct. So day one, that is the reason in day one I created this folder structure because I kept Spring in mind. Only when you are introduced to these things, it will not be new to you. The day one, what we did, we just using new keyword, we call this, instead of that, we wired. That's all. You're right. Okay, so I wanted to show that. Let me close this project. Now we'll run and see. Now the pending part is we have to wire the DAO layer. We have not created a DAO layer here. We will go ahead, create a DAO. Before that, I have to run and see, right? Okay. Rajesh.DAO. That's the structure. Let me run this and see. It's not going to return any value because I'm not giving any input. Okay, what is my request parameter? First num. I have to pass. So what I'll pass? First num equal to 1.1. Okay, 11 1.1 and second num. Since we didn't give any value, the default is taking 2.1 plus 1.1 is 3.2, 4.2. Maybe two times I pass the first number then. From there the passing is okay. I'm passing the second number itself two times. So it's adding 2.1 plus 2.1 and 4.2 it is printing. Let's see now. First number, second number is 9.1. The answer should be 10.2. And action name is action name equal to act. Let's see what happens. What happened? Input first number, two times input second number, but it is wrong. Second number, it is just second number. I gave it correctly. Action name is correct. Input number and action name, everything is correct. I don't need to give a string here. No. And the second num equal to. I missed that equal to. Okay, so 9.1 plus 9.1 because two times I'm passing the second number itself. Here I have to pass the first number followed by second number. I'll copy this and save. So the same application which we built in servlet, we have done it here. We can copy the same JSP as well. Let me do that right away. We have the greeting.jsp. So it is working. So we are sending this first number, second number, and third number. Three inputs we are passing, and it is a do get. Here we retrieve all the three values, and we call the method. The most important to learn from today's session is auto wiring. Without creating a new object using the new keyword, which is against the core Java, we are able to create an object and call the method inside an object. And once we get a result, it is all straightforward. We put it inside a model, and in JSP we use a dollar to get the value. Now we'll go ahead. DAO, I'll create one interface. IDAO, the naming convention is important so that everyone can understand it. This is an interface. And I'll take the same as service. I'll copy the method name from service, and in DAO I'll keep it. And I'll create one implementation. Don't forget to remember me. After this, I'll tell you the real world example. Why do we need this multiple interfaces and that qualifier? Okay, I'll create one class here, DAO IMPL. Here the super class, no interfaces, which is extending is DAO, IDAO. This is one way of implementing this box. If you add, the Eclipse will automatically add this implement keyword and it will give this method. Now I give this. What I'll do, I'll move the logic from maths. Okay. From the maths operation, I'll move this entire logic. I'll cut it and I'll paste inside the DAO. So the core logic is moved to DAO now. So from service, I have to call DAO. All I have to do is I have to create and declare, sorry, not create, declare an object of IDAO object, and there is only one implementation. So I can just give Autowired, and Autowire has to be from Bean Factory Annotation Autowire. Just ensure this. Sometimes what happens is you work with multiple jars and you wrongly import the Autowire, and many of the feature will not work. So I have to call here IDAO object dot maths operation. So same number one, number two, and action, whatever is coming, and I will return here. Whatever the DAO is returning, I will return back from service. This is one way. Other way is I can give here double return equal to double return value equal to and return value. This also you can do. But when you are just going to return, why to store in a variable? Creating a variable will take up memory. So why to store? We just return back. Okay. Now everything should work as usual. So the control comes from controller. We call the service. Let it be here. I want to show you something. We call the service. From the service, which service it goes, both the service it goes. Okay. The first service, it will call DAO. Second service has nothing. It will stop. Let's check. Okay, what it is telling? Yeah, can someone tell me what is the issue? Yes.
Rajesh, I'm not sure here.
Only then this is eligible for scanning. If you don't give this, it will throw, there is no bean. You are giving auto wiring. So this bean has to be available when the bean factory is scanning. Remember I said this word, only when you give this, the class will be eligible and will be scanned by the bean factory. Okay, it started without error. Now I hit this. Let me change the number on that. Okay, it is working. Okay. Any questions? So the Spring flow is controller service DAO. Always remember this. When you speak about Spring, what are the keywords which you have to remember? DI, IOC, talk to interface, um, controller, service, DAO, auto wiring, at component, at qualifier. Anything else I missed? These are the like primary keywords you have to remember, and we saw the application. Now, before we wind up for the day,
Rajesh,
yes,
I'm sorry here. You mentioned the flow, right? I think day one or day two you mentioned this flow, right? In the first week.
yeah, day one itself I mentioned this.
Okay.
That is why
And,
we created that folder structure.
okay, first of all, it has to go here, okay. First
Yes,
it has to be class, okay.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Day one, I mentioned this using core Java. We just created new object from main application to service. Service, we created an object of DAO. Now the same program we have progressed, and we have not used a new keyword but made it work still. Okay, clear?
Could you please repeat the last statement, Rajesh?
Day one,
Java.
Day one, from the main program, we called the service using new keyword. From the service, we call the DAO using new keyword, and we return back. Today, we are using the same flow. From controller, we are calling service without new keyword. From service to DAO without new keyword.
Okay.
That's all. We achieved the same logic which we did on day one today without using new keywords.
Okay.
Correct, we are calling, right? The flow is going on.
Yeah, I got you.
No keyword. Okay, so before we wind up, I'll tell the application of multiple interfaces. Why should we have this flow? Why did Spring come up with this flow? There should be something very concrete, right? Otherwise, just like that, they will not introduce this. The practical application of using this talking with interface, having multiple implementation classes in our places.
Okay.
You know databases, right?
I heard Rajesh, but I'm
What
not
are
sure
the,
how.
can you name some database?
Just I know SQL.
Okay, SQL. SQL is from Microsoft.
I heard just I heard Oracle.
Oracle. Okay. So two databases, you know, that is enough for now. So let us see this guy, this max operation. We'll create one interface. I DB rules. Public void. Your DB should be like this. Okay. The database guys, the community is meeting up and it is forming a rules. If you are going to write a DB, your DB should be like this. Now,
Rajesh,
yes,
IDB, that means
interface, database rules.
okay.
Interface DB rules.
Database. This is just to connect database or something.
No, that we don't know. But this is the database guys all over the world. They meet up and they tell that whoever is going to develop a database, you have to have this method and your DB should be like this. Okay, this is just a contract rules.
Okay.
Now Oracle is coming. He is telling, okay, I am going to develop one Oracle database, 9i, 10z, 11z, whatever it is. He is telling Oracle DB. What they have to do? They have to follow the rules. So they have to implement the interface DB provided by everyone, or else their DB will not be used.
Okay,
It is,
for just using their DB by using Java, these are the rules we have to follow.
yes. So what
Okay.
they do, Oracle is implementing that interface and they are writing the logic here. We are Oracle. Okay, great. So they have done this. Tomorrow Microsoft is coming. I don't like Oracle DB. I am going to provide my own DB. So Microsoft guy comes. He tells Microsoft DB. Again, the community says, if you want to release your DB into the market, you have to follow the standard. So implement the rules which we have given. What is the rules? We don't know, but you have to implement those rules. So the rule is your method name should be like this only. This is the method name, but you write your logic whatever you want here.
Okay. That means for every organization, they are going to provide their own rules.
Correct. But every organization is going to use only the same name. Your
Okay.
DB should be like this. They cannot change the method name. Here, this guy can write, I am Microsoft more powerful than Oracle. He will write, I am, okay, he is writing his DB logic here. Tomorrow, one more guy comes, Teradata. He is going to develop a database. Again, this community will tell you have to follow this structure. So this can go up to n, but whoever is going to develop the database, the method name will not be changed. Correct? Right? You can notice this?
Yeah,
Or,
the method name has to be.
because they are going to implement the rules. The rule is fixed. Now this rule, these guys are now meeting up. Your DB should be like this. I don't want this. Method name. Okay, your method name should be method name. Now everyone will have to change their code. They will change, since they have said that it should be method name, they will all change it to method name. So far clear?
Yeah.
Okay, now we are the end customer. We are developing a software. Now we don't know what DB to use. I'll use this welcome page here. I don't know what DB is to use. Okay, what I will do, I'll contact the DB provider. What DB I have to use, I don't know. Okay, what they sell, don't care what DB you are going to use. Whomever you are going to use, they will be following my rules. So always talk to the interface. Private, here, I have to declare here. Private, what is the interface name? Interface DB rules. Okay, I will just talk with the interface without worrying which DB I'm going to use. So here I will call method name. So today my organization, I'm developing the application using Oracle. That case, I will give here Oracle. Okay, and similarly in this Oracle DB, I have to give here at component, and inside that I have to give a name for it. This is an Oracle. Okay, the same way when I am using a Microsoft DB, I will give here Microsoft. Now that's all the coding is done. So today my company is using Oracle DB. So I'll give here Oracle DB rules. I'll call the method name. Let's say after 1 year, I decided to go with Microsoft. What is the change I have to do in code? I have to just change here to Microsoft. That's all. My entire code will work normally. It will now go to Microsoft DB. It will work with Microsoft DB.
Okay, these are the syntax, the real syntax, Rajesh, or just
Real.
Okay, okay.
So when this auto wiring, this qualifier, multiple implementation of an interface, this is used in real world when you work with multiple database. With just one keyword change, the entire code will work in Oracle now. If I give Oracle, what it will do? It will go to Oracle DB implementation, correct? Which object will be binded here? The qualifier is Oracle. So it is going to see the component with Oracle and new Oracle DB. This object will be binded here. Correct? That's what we saw. Maths operation 2. If I change to Microsoft, this object will be binded here. If I give Oracle and I run it, this sysout will come. We are Oracle. I decide to move to Microsoft. I just have to change the qualifier. Getting it? Or any questions? Confused?
Yeah, just we are using that the database, just we are wiring here, right?
Yes. This is actually an advanced concept, very advanced. If I call welcome, but this will be used in real world. Localhost welcome. We are Oracle. I decide to move away from Oracle to Microsoft. I just change here. The control goes to Microsoft now.
Yes.
That's all. That is the purpose of having this qualifier. That is the purpose of having multiple implementation. And this is also called runtime polymorphism. Dynamically during runtime, it goes to the respective classes. Now if I run, just I am changing one keyword here and the control goes to a different file totally. The logics in this file will start working now. This file will not even considered, correct?
Yeah.
That is the biggest advantage of this type of coding. Let us say the same coding you want to do in servlet, what we will be doing, the Oracle DB object equal to new Oracle DB. We have to go there, delete that new of Oracle DB and give new Microsoft DB. Inside the servlet, we have to give that new object, correct? We have to change the import and we have to give the new class name. Here, this class doesn't even know whether it is Oracle or Microsoft. Just by using qualifier, we will change everything. This is the advantage. And Microsoft more powerful than Oracle. Okay. We'll pause here for today.
Yeah, that means we discussed today the qualifiers, the auto wiring,
Yes.
and
Today we
coupling and
discussed,
decoupling.
correct. We discussed one of the very important concept in Spring. How do we call different classes from, I mean, how do we talk between classes? That is what we saw. How do we speak between classes without using new keyword? And for that, we spoke about
That
auto
means
wiring.
Rajesh, without new means no object. But internally it's going to create or
Internally,
not. Okay.
yes, internally it has to create. Without new
Yeah.
keyword, Java cannot work.
Okay.
It has to create, but we as a
We
developer
can't.
don't do that.
Okay. Okay.
We don't do it. The bean factory is responsible. Why do we need to go for that structure? That is what the real world example I showed you. Oracle, and with the example of the Oracle DB and Microsoft DB. Maybe just have this example in mind. It is very advanced concept. You might not be able to understand fully, but this is the reason. This is the core reason Spring came up. Once you start using it in a project, or maybe once you hit hands on, you'll understand this better. That time you'll recollect. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So we'll pause for today here. We'll again meet up.
Rajesh, could you please explain the postman just for 2 minutes?
Yes, yes. Actually, Postman is a tool. We have not only Postman, there is one more very good tool like Postman is ARC, Advanced REST Client. ARC and Postman. So what it means is they are used to test just the API. Using Postman or ARC, you cannot go into production. They are just before. Let me see if I have an ARC.
That means the SOAP AI is going to involve one of the concept here. That's what? No, it's different.
SOAP UI is something different.
Okay.
We have something as a REST API. So we have endpoints listening. If you want to test the endpoint, we need the Postman or ARC. Using that,
Okay.
we pass the request and we retrieve the response. It is for unit testing and also checking whether the API is up or not and whether the API is working or not. That is why we go for Postman. Uh, for that, you need to know what is an API. Because Postman is used to test the API. Suppose sample APIs. Sample API for testing.
It's a set of functions that allows applications to access data and interact with external software components like operating systems or microservices.
Let me see here. Close my Eclipse. Here, okay, HTTPS JSON placeholder to do one. Let's see. You can call this API from Postman and you'll get a request and response. This is called an API. This is an endpoint which will be listening for a request. You see run script. See here, it is returning some data. This is called API endpoint. And if you give this in Postman, you will get this response.
That means, Rajesh, we have endpoint URL. It is going to, the endpoint URL is to retrieve the data from any database. Just we are
Correct.
checking that the endpoint URL is going to retrieve the particular data or not. For
Correct.
that, we are going to use Postman.
Correct. That is exactly what it is.
The SOAP UPI, the SOAP UI,
That is
it's different.
also using that. Also, we do the same. It is more sophisticated. It is more advantage. That is used for web service also. We have two
Okay.
types of API: REST and web.
Mhm.
Web service is using the XML. So SOAP. Web service data are transferred using SOAP, which is simple object access protocol. That is SOAP.
Okay.
REST is a representative protocol. Representation state transfer. REST, REST. SOAP is
Okay.
simple object access. So earlier days SOAP was there. Nowadays SOAP is replaced with REST. So SOAP UI, using SOAP UI you can test the web service, but using Postman you cannot test a web service.
Okay. To test any endpoint URL, just we have to install that Postman and we have
Not
to.
in not any endpoint, REST
Okay.
endpoint. If the
That.
endpoint is made of REST, this is a REST. Using SOAP, endpoint which is made of SOAP, you cannot call like this. It will throw error.
Okay.
So you have to know first what type of service is it. Whether it is an REST service or a web service. If it is web service, you can go for the SOAP UI. If it is REST service, just Postman is enough.
Okay.
SOAP
Rajesh.
UI is
Yeah.
advanced.
Okay. Just I will go through this one in the internet. Just I will get back to you by tomorrow
Sure, sure,
because
sure.
this APIs and this one.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Rajesh. Thank
Okay
you.
then, guys. Yeah. Thank you all. Bye.
Bye.